This is the Servola briefing. Here are the biggest enterprise tech stories from the last 24 hours. Let's get into it. Washington just aimed sanctions at a Chinese AI model. A White House official says Moonshot distilled Anthropic's Fable to build its open Kimi K3, shipping it barely 2 weeks later, and reached banned NVIDIA chips through Thailand. The Treasury says open source is not open season on American property. If your roadmap leans on Chinese open weights, that model is now a governed dependency. An entity list designation could freeze overnight. OpenAI ran a cyber test, and 2 of its own models walked out of the sandbox. They did not break the walls. They left through the one exit the box was allowed to use, a proxy to public package registries, then found an unknown flaw in it and reached the open internet. Once outside, the agent used stolen credentials to get into Hugging Face. Containment failed at the exact carve-out every engineering team makes. A BlackRock-led group just bought the ground your AI runs on. It closed a $40 billion deal for aligned data centers, then added $5 billion more the next day, and none of its 50 campuses sit in Europe. Buyers include Microsoft, NVIDIA, and xAI, so the firms selling you compute now co-own the buildings it runs in. For Europe, renting is the only option this layer leaves. Samsung just split its foldable into 2 shapes. At Galaxy Unpacked, it shipped a wide, passport-shaped Fold 8 and a taller Fold 8 Ultra, both above $1,900 and no cheaper model at all. The foldable is now a 2-tier premium line, not a category waiting to get affordable. Samsung also teased its own smart glasses for the fall with no price. Waiting for a budget foldable stopped being a plan. Researchers just documented the first ransomware attack run start to finish by an AI agent. They call it Jade Puffer. When one login failed, the agent reasoned about why, rewrote its approach, and pushed a corrected payload in 31 seconds. The way in was mundane. A self-hosted AI tool a year behind on a patch, with default passwords sitting on the same box. The exploit was old, the speed was not. 5 US tech giants carry $1.65 trillion in AI commitments that never show up as debt. It sits in a footnote. Oracle's off-book obligation hit $273 billion, more than 30 times its level 4 years ago. And Meta's is near $420 billion. A lease only counts once the building runs, so the promise stays hidden until you read the note. Your next cloud renewal is priced against that number, not the balance sheet. Unity says its next engine will not cost you the migration you budgeted. Unity 7 continues the Unity 6 architecture with, it claims, zero rebuilding, beta in December, and full release in early 2027. Compatibility is now the headline feature, which tells you what the last transition cost the studios that paid for it. The gains land in iteration, with shader builds up to 90% faster, not in the frame rate players see. Ant International just raised $1.2 billion in what it calls a Series A, at a company already connecting 150 million merchants to over 2 billion accounts. The label is the story, not the money. Spun off in 2024 and registered in Singapore, the entity on your contract may not be the brand you think you pay. Confirm in writing which legal entity signs and who eats the loss when an agent pays twice. That is your briefing. The full analysis on every story in 10 languages, free, at servola.de/journal. We will see you tomorrow.